at the North Pole, it's near the South Pole where some serious scientific action has been taking place.
A drone flew over Antarctica's ice wall and captured the most shocking footage ever. This frozen wasteland, bare of any trees, is home to the tough Weddell seals. They dive deep into icy waters, using the Earth's magnetic fields to navigate through thick ice in search of air. But what forbidden things could footage from beyond the ice wall reveal? Let us uncover the chilling discoveries lurking under Antarctica's ice that will change human history forever. Ocean puppies' hidden talents. Let's talk about seals, often lovingly called ocean puppies because they're just so darn cute. Despite their simple appearance, with those shiny big eyes, they're actually pretty savvy when it comes to survival. Take the Weddell seals, for example. These guys are real champs. They can dive down more than 2,000 feet into super cold waters and can hold their breath for more than an hour. That's not just cool, it's amazing. But it's their special skill in finding tiny air holes in the thick ice that's a real game changer. This skill is super important not just for breathing, but also for catching their dinner. So, how do they manage to find these air holes? Well, research funded by the National Science Foundation has shown that Weddell seals have something like an internal compass. They navigate by sensing the Earth's magnetic fields, almost as if they have their own GPS system. This incredible adaptation helps them survive in the tough Antarctic environment. This discovery really turns the tables on what we think about how smart animals can be and their ability to adjust to different surroundings. It proves that even in the most extreme places like Antarctica, life isn't just surviving, it's thriving. The smarts and adaptability of these seals make us rethink our understanding of the natural world. Despite its icy and barren look, Antarctica is as lively and vibrant as any tropical jungle or coral reef. The stark landscape of dark rocks against the endless ice makes these unusual findings stand out, offering awesome opportunities for scientific research. While exploring the Weddell Sea, scientists found something really cool, a massive breeding ground for ice fish. This place is as big as Malta, covering about 92 square miles, and it's packed with about 60 million nests. The ice fish parents are really dedicated, meticulously building nests to keep their eggs safe. They create circular patches on the seabed, each about 30 inches across, to protect their eggs from predators and from being washed away by strong currents. The commitment of these ice fish to ensure their young make it in such harsh conditions is truly inspiring. These fish live in freezing waters and have some unique traits. Their blood doesn't have the red hemoglobin like other fish. Instead, they have special proteins that stop ice from forming in their bodies, allowing them to live in temperatures that would eliminate most marine life. But the story gets even better. This discovery doesn't just highlight the amazing ways ice fish have adapted, it also shines a light on the importance of the Weddell Sea as one of the planet's last untouched marine ecosystems. Protecting its diverse life forms is crucial, and understanding the life there helps scientists come up with plans to protect it. Antarctica is a land of survival, where life pushes through against all odds. This frozen continent is home to a bunch of unique creatures, each adapted in their own way to handle the severe icy conditions. Antarctic sea spiders, or Pantopoda, are odd but fascinating. They carry their organs in their long legs, and they feed by using a long snout-like mouth to suck nutrients from their prey. This weird body setup works perfectly for surviving in the cold, nutrient-scarce waters of Antarctica. Tardigrades, also known as water bears, are tiny but incredibly tough. These little creatures can handle the most extreme environments, even outer space. They can completely dry out and remain inactive for decades, coming back to life with just a bit of water. Giant sea sponges live in the deep, dark world under the ice shelves, away from sunlight and typical food sources. They thrive by catching food particles from the slow-moving underwater currents, showing their amazing ability to adapt and make the most of limited resources. The colossal squid, a giant of the deep seas, resides in the dark, cold waters of Antarctica. Known for its huge size, it represents one of the ocean's most hard-to-spot creatures. Its presence hints at the vast, unexplored depths of Antarctic waters and the fascinating stories they might tell. And under the ice, in the coldest waters, there are even more amazing creatures and findings that show how life adapts in Antarctica. Emperor penguins in the snow. Emperor penguins are the dignitaries of the Antarctic. They are the tallest and heaviest of all penguin species. During the brutal Antarctic winter, they engage in complex breeding rituals, showcasing their determination and toughness. Their ability to survive and reproduce under such extreme conditions is truly impressive. As night falls on the ice, the leopard seals come into their element. Known for their agility and strength, these seals are top predators. They feed on fish, squid, and occasionally other seals. Their prowess in hunting and their ability to adapt make them a dominant force in the Antarctic ecosystem. Each species in Antarctica tells a remarkable story of adaptation and survival, showcasing the incredible resilience of life on one of the most extreme and isolated continents on Earth. In another exciting development in 2023, an international team of researchers discovered 5 new meteorites in Antarctica, including one of the largest ever found on the continent. This meteorite, weighing 17 pounds and about the size of a cantaloupe, is ordinary in composition, but extraordinary in size. Large meteorites like this are incredibly rare, with only about 100 similar-sized specimens found across Antarctica. These meteorites are important not just because of their size, but also because they provide valuable insights into the composition and history of celestial bodies beyond our planet. Antarctica's vast, icy plains are ideal for spotting meteorites. The bright white of the ice makes a stark contrast with the dark color of the meteorites, which helps them stand out, making it easier for scientists to find and examine them. This unique characteristic of Antarctica has turned it into a prime spot for collecting materials from outer space, with each new find adding significantly to our knowledge of the universe beyond Earth. Beyond just being a landscape of ice and snow, Antarctica's cold, dry environment helps keep meteorites in near-perfect condition. This makes it an incredible resource for scientists. These space rocks, trapped in ice for thousands of years, provide important clues about the history of our solar system. As glaciers slowly move, they push these meteorites toward the surface, where they can be picked up. Each trip to this icy wilderness brings with it the hope of discovering bigger and more unusual meteorites hidden across this vast frozen land. In 2010, during a geological drilling project in Antarctica, something quite remarkable was discovered under the ice. A robotic camera found tiny sea anemones, each no larger than an inch, living upside down, embedded in the ice. These burrowing ghost anemones dangle their 20 to 24 tentacles into the chilly waters below, displaying a type of adaptation never seen before. This discovery has sparked intense interest among scientists, who are eager to figure out how these anemones manage to feed and survive under such challenging conditions. A few years later, in 2019, researchers in the Scotia Sea, just north of Antarctica, made another groundbreaking discovery. They found ancient DNA, known as ceta DNA, within sediment cores taken from the seafloor. This DNA came from tiny marine creatures called diatoms and is over 1 million years old, making it the oldest DNA ever discovered. It beat the previous record from Arctic permafrost by 350,000 years. This find is incredibly valuable as it provides insights into Earth's climate and ecosystems from a long time ago, offering invaluable clues for scientists studying ancient environmental changes. Moreover, Antarctica is home to the colossal squid, an enormous creature with the largest eyes of any animal, each as big as a dinner plate. These giant eyes help the squid see in the deep, dark waters of the Southern Ocean. Researchers are fascinated by this huge invertebrate and are working hard to understand its lifestyle and survival strategies. The colossal squid can reach up to an impressive length of 46 feet, and some suggest it might even be larger. Unlike its relative, the giant squid, which has tentacles lined only with suckers, the colossal squid's tentacles are equipped with sharp hooks, perfect for grabbing large prey like the Patagonian toothfish. It also has the largest beak of any squid, which it uses to tear large chunks from its prey, making it a formidable predator capable of ambush. Just like the giant squid moves through the deep ocean, explorers have braved the ice, facing tough conditions and finding incredible surprises. Massive squid in deep waters. The colossal squid prefers to stay deep below the ocean's surface, in dark waters up to 7,200 feet deep. This deep-sea habitat protects it from most predators, with the exception of sperm whales, which sometimes have scars from their encounters with these squids. The colossal squid is thought to be a solitary hunter, relying on stealth and surprise to capture its prey in the deep ocean. Because it lives so deep and is rarely seen by humans, scientists have initiated special missions dedicated to learning more about this rarely seen creature. Over a century ago, the poles were the last unexplored regions of our planet, drawing bold explorers to their icy realms. Among them was Ernest Shackleton and his crew, who set sail from South Georgia Island to Antarctica aboard the Endurance on December 5, 1914. Designed to withstand extreme polar conditions, the ship carried Shackleton, several scientists, and an unexpected stowaway. As they sailed into the treacherous Weddell Sea, they found themselves increasingly trapped by the thickening ice. The relentless grip of the ice reveals hidden wonders, showing the delicate balance between life and the stark, silent freeze. Despite their efforts with picks and saws to break through the ice, by January 1915, the Endurance was hopelessly trapped. The Antarctic winter tightened its hold, and the crushing ice slowly destroyed the ship. For months, the crew endured brutal conditions on their trapped vessel, clinging to the hope of a thaw that never came. Ultimately, on October 27, 1915, Shackleton had to make the difficult decision to abandon the Endurance as the ice crushed its hull, sending it to the bottom of the sea. This episode serves as a powerful reminder of human resilience and the overwhelming forces of nature. In the vast, icy expanse, explorers and scientists have noted unusual green icebergs. These icebergs, often referred to as jade bergs, have a striking emerald color that stands out against the usual whites and blues of the Antarctic landscape. For years, the source of this green color was a topic of much speculation. Some thought it might be due to organic material or microscopic life within the ice. However, it was eventually discovered that iron oxides, the same substances found in rust, were responsible. These oxides absorb blue light but reflect red and orange, mixing with the ice to produce a green appearance. These distinctive green icebergs are not just visually appealing. They play a crucial role in the ecosystem by releasing iron into the water as they melt. This iron provides essential nutrients for phytoplankton, tiny organisms that are vital to the marine food chain and support a diverse array of marine life. Understanding these icebergs has shed light on their important role in supporting Antarctic ecosystems. Back in 2007, nearly 100 years after the famous Nimrod expedition led by Shackleton, an incredible discovery was made at Cape Royds, right where Shackleton's base used to be. Buried deep in the ice, they found 5 crates. But these weren't just any crates. Instead of supplies, they held bottles of alcohol. 3 crates were packed with McKinley's rare old Highland malt whiskey, and 2 with brandy. This discovery was more than just a cool historical find. It really underscored how tough the conditions were for those early explorers in Antarctica. Despite popular belief, drinking alcohol in cold climates can actually make you lose body heat faster. It feels warm at first, but this feeling is misleading because it doesn't really help against the fierce cold of Antarctica. Finding these crates reminds us that Antarctica still has lots of surprises waiting to be discovered by today's explorers. These bottles of whiskey were probably meant to bring a little comfort and joy to the expedition team during their hard times, maybe as a way to relax or celebrate big achievements. The crates were carefully dug out and shipped off to New Zealand, where they were slowly and carefully thawed out by conservators in a specially designed environment. Inside, they found 11 whiskey bottles still wrapped up in their original paper and straw, perfectly preserved, as if they had been frozen in time. These weren't just old bottles, they were like treasures from the past, untouched by time. While the deep sea has its giants, the surface of Antarctica have their own stories, with unique animals showing how life goes on in the extreme cold. Whiskey bottles in ice. Specialists from White and Mackay and the Scotch Whisky Research Institute took these bottles and examined them thoroughly. They managed to recreate the whiskey exactly as it was back then, giving people today the chance to taste a bit of history. This recreated whiskey, named McKinley's Rare Old Highland Malt, was a hit and even led to a second batch being produced due to its popularity. In 2017, something else interesting turned up. The Antarctic Heritage Trust came across an old fruit cake at Camp Air, stored in a rusty tin and wrapped in wax paper. Surprisingly, it still looked and smelled fresh enough to eat, although no one actually tried it. The icy conditions in Antarctica had preserved it perfectly, acting like a giant freezer. This cake was probably intended to be a comforting, high-calorie treat for Scott and his team during their challenging expedition. Sadly, while the cake stayed safe and sound in the hut, Scott and his team weren't as lucky. Let's talk about the Yeti crab, a weird and wonderful creature found deep in the ocean. These crabs are hairy and live in the extreme heat of hydrothermal vents along the East Scotia Ridge. Even though the surrounding waters are freezing, these vents pump out super hot, mineral-rich water. The Yeti crabs have adapted to these harsh conditions by farming bacteria on their hairy bristles. This bacteria feeds on the vent minerals and converts them into food for the crabs through a process called chemosynthesis. They live in tight-knit communities, creating a bustling little ecosystem in a place you'd otherwise think was completely inhospitable. Did you know there's an ATM at the South Pole? It might just be the loneliest ATM in the world, standing out there in the freezing cold. It's a funny reminder that even in the most remote corners of the world, you can still find traces of modern human life. This solitary cash machine ensures that the brave souls working at the research stations can access their funds, no matter how far they are from civilization. It's a quirky testament to human adaptability and the ever-present need for a bit of cash, even in the most unexpected places. Although Antarctica doesn't have any permanent residents or a formal government, it gets between 1,000 to 5,000 visitors each year, depending on the season. One interesting feature of this transient community is an ATM at McMurdo Station, the largest research center in Antarctica. Managed by Wells Fargo, this ATM dispenses US dollars and becomes a crucial resource during the winter when only about 200 people remain at the station. During the cold winter months, this ATM is essential. It provides the cash needed for buying basic supplies at the station's store, sending mail, or even grabbing a drink at the bar. Keeping this ATM up and running is a big deal. Every 2 years, technicians with special training are flown in to maintain and update the machine. They go through extensive testing to ensure they can handle the solitude and harsh weather, because getting stranded by unexpected storms is a real risk. If the ATM stops working between these scheduled maintenance visits, the McMurdo staff are trained to make basic repairs to keep it going. There's even a spare ATM on site, just for parts if needed. Even in one of the most remote places on Earth, having access to cash is still an important part of daily life. Then there's the Yanisca gigantea, or the Antarctic scale worm. This fascinating creature can grow up to a foot long and has shiny scales that help it blend into the rocky seabed. Its body is segmented and extremely flexible, allowing it to squeeze through small spaces underwater. The scale worm is a formidable predator, thanks to its powerful jaws and sharp teeth. Despite the freezing cold, this worm thrives. Its strong muscles prevent it from being swept away by the strong underwater currents. The Eulogisca gigantea is an impressive hunter in these icy waters, proving that life can not only exist, but also flourish in some of the most challenging environments. From the practical to the peculiar, the stories of Antarctica, from its essential ATMs to its intriguing wildlife, show how life adapts and continues in the face of extreme conditions. Life in the coldest place on Earth. Antarctica is unlike any other place on Earth. It's freezing and covered in ice, with no mammals, reptiles, or amphibians that are native to the land. Even trees and flowering plants can't handle the freezing conditions here. Despite these tough conditions, life finds a way to thrive. The layers of ice preserve old stories, capturing details about ancient creatures and how the climate used to be. One of the coolest things about Antarctica is its seals, which are sometimes called the puppies of the ocean because they're so cute. These seals may look simple, but they're incredibly good at surviving in the cold. For instance, Weddell seals can dive over 2,000 feet deep and hold their breath for more than an hour in the icy waters. Researchers have recently found out that these seals have a super strong sense of smell. They use this to find holes in the ice so they can breathe and to sniff out where their predators and food are, even during the dark, cold winter. But seals aren't the only interesting thing in Antarctica. Scientists also found the remains of a huge bird that used to fly around here. This suggests that long ago, Antarctica might have been warmer and full of life, quite different from the icy desert it is today. These discoveries make us think differently about this far-off continent. Both the seals and the giant ancient bird show us how life can adapt to even the most extreme environments. Every new thing we find in the ice teaches us more about Earth's climate in the past and how different species have changed over time. It turns out that Weddell seals might even use the Earth's magnetic field to help them navigate through the icy waters, kind of like they have their own built-in GPS. This amazing ability probably helps them find breathing holes and hunt in their challenging home. And here's something really surprising. In early 2022, scientists discovered a huge group of these seals breeding deep in the Weddell Sea. This discovery is really important because it helps us understand more about how these seals reproduce and live in such tough places. The breeding site, hidden in a rarely explored part of Antarctica, offers a unique view of the life cycle of these animals and their role in the polar ecosystem. Learning about the seals' navigation skills and how they have babies not only gives us more insight into marine biology, but also highlights how amazingly adaptable and tough these creatures are. The ongoing research keeps revealing fascinating facts about how Weddell seals live, showing their incredible ability to survive and thrive. In the freezing waters of Antarctica, there's a huge area where icefish breed and live. It's about as big as Malta, covering 92 square miles. Here, about 60 million nests are scattered across the ocean floor. Each nest, carefully made by the icefish, is about 30 inches wide. These nests serve as safe homes for the fish and their eggs. But wait, there's still more. The adult icefish take great care of their young. They clean up the seabed to make these nests and guard the eggs from dangers like predators and strong currents. Their dedication shows how well they've adapted to one of the coldest places on Earth. But there's more. These fish have clear blood. Unlike other fish, their blood doesn't have hemoglobin, but it does have special proteins that keep ice crystals from forming inside them, allowing them to live in freezing temperatures. The ability of icefish to survive under such extreme conditions is impressive. The Weddell Sea, where these fish live, is one of the most untouched marine areas left on Earth. Studying this place helps us learn more about these resilient creatures and how important it is to protect such untouched natural areas. Understanding how icefish survive offers valuable lessons on life's adaptability to harsh environments. A team of researchers recently made a remarkable find in Antarctica. They discovered 5 new meteorites, including one that's one of the largest ever found on the continent. This big meteorite weighs about 17 pounds and is about the size of a cantaloupe, but much heavier because it's made of dense metal. Finding such a large meteorite is a rare event and adds a lot to the collection of space materials found in Antarctica. Antarctica's ice holds more surprises, including incredible finds that connect our world to space. The unexpected finds in Antarctica. You might wonder why Antarctica is such a great place for finding meteorites. It's not because more meteorites fall there, but because they are easier to spot and stay well preserved. The wide stretches of white ice make the dark rocks stand out, and the cold, dry climate keeps them in good condition. As we explore the icy landscape, we keep making more amazing discoveries about both Earth and space. But that's not the only reason Antarctica is so valuable for finding meteorites. The visibility and preservation conditions make it an incredible place for these discoveries. Each meteorite provides scientists with important clues about space, helping to piece together the vast unknowns of the universe. These finds in the cold, remote part of the world keep exciting the scientific community and add to our understanding of the cosmos. Every discovery fuels more research and excitement. In a notable expedition in 2010, researchers from the Antarctic Geological Drilling Program sent a robot with a camera under the ice shelf. They were amazed to find thousands of tiny sea anemones living in the ice. These sea anemones were unlike any seen before because they were actually living within the ice, not just on the ocean floor like usual. Their delicate, flower-like tentacles hung in the cold water, presenting a beautiful and unusual sight. Antarctica never ceases to amaze with its ability to support life under incredibly harsh conditions. One of the more fascinating inhabitants of this icy realm are the burrowing ghost anemones. These tiny creatures are typically less than an inch long when they're all curled up, but can stretch out to 4 times that length. Each anemone is equipped with 20 to 24 tentacles, showcasing just how adaptable life can be in the most extreme environments. Keep watching to find out more. But the real twist isn't just their survival skills. In 2019, researchers from the International Ocean Discovery Program, while mapping the ocean floor in the Scotia Sea, north of Antarctica, accidentally gathered what's known as sedimentary ancient DNA, or SETA DNA, from depths of about 584 feet below the seabed. This accidental find has cracked open new opportunities to explore the long and complex history of life in these remote underwater worlds. This intriguing find has sparked a flurry of scientific excitement. Researchers are now gearing up to delve into these genetic clues to reconstruct past ecosystems that thrived in what are now icy, barren waters. Each new discovery in Antarctica's underwater world is adding a new chapter to our understanding, revealing more about how life once flourished in these now icy depths. The SETA DNA samples contain genetic information from diatoms, tiny but incredibly important oceanic plants. Remarkably, this DNA is up to 1 million years old, pushing back the previous record for the oldest DNA, which was 650,000 years old and found in Arctic ice. As temperatures continue to fall in these regions, scientists are hopeful that they might unearth DNA that is even older. Moving from tiny organisms to giants of the deep, let's talk about the colossal squid. This creature isn't just a figment of maritime lore, but a real, studied animal that is among the ocean's most formidable predators. It boasts the largest eyes in the animal kingdom, each eye reaching up to 16 inches in diameter. The colossal squid can grow up to 46 feet in length, and perhaps even longer, according to some reports. Unlike its relative, the giant squid, which has tentacles lined with small-toothed suckers, the colossal squid's tentacles are fitted with sharp hooks. These hooks are perfectly designed for grabbing and holding onto large prey, demonstrating its dominance as a predator in the deep ocean. The colossal squid inhabits the dark depths of the ocean, up to 7,200 feet below the surface, away from the eyes of most predators and humans. Its massive beak, the largest among all squid species, allows it to easily tear apart its prey, making it a master of ambush attacks. Despite its fearsome capabilities, It leads a largely hidden life, rarely seen by humans, and facing few threats in its dark, cold home. However, the sperm whale, one of its few known adversaries, often carries scars from encounters with these giant squids. The deep, cold waters of Antarctica hide incredible stories about ancient life and giant sea creatures. Shackleton's hidden crates. Despite being one of the largest marine predators, there's still a lot we don't know about the colossal squid. It is thought to be a solitary hunter, relying on stealth and the element of surprise to catch its prey. The rarity of sightings has left many aspects of its life unknown, sparking significant interest among marine biologists. Over recent years, numerous expeditions have been launched to learn more about this elusive giant of the deep, yet encounters with the colossal squid are still a rare treat. Now, let's take a step back in time to over 100 years ago, when the polar regions were among the last uncharted areas on Earth. Drawn to these icy frontiers, Ernest Shackleton and his crew embarked on an epic voyage aboard the Endurance, setting sail from South Georgia Island towards Antarctica on December 5, 1914. Built to withstand the extreme conditions of the poles, the Endurance carried not only Shackleton and his team of explorers, but also an unexpected stowaway who later joined the expedition. As they ventured deeper into the Weddell Sea, the ice grew increasingly thick and treacherous. Despite their efforts, the Endurance became trapped, marking a significant, though tragic, chapter in the history of polar exploration. The crew worked tirelessly with picks and saws trying to free their ship from the ice's grip, but to no avail. As the Antarctic winter worsened, the pressure of the ice began to crush the ship. For months, the crew endured brutal conditions, hoping for a thaw that never came. By October 27, 1915, Shackleton faced the grim decision to abandon the Endurance. The ice eventually pierced the hull, and the ship sank into the icy depths. The resilience and spirit of the crew during these extreme hardships continue to inspire tales of human survival and courage. More than a century later, the wreck of the Endurance was discovered. Using advanced underwater vehicles and following the detailed navigational notes of the ship's captain, Frank Worsley, a team aboard the South African-American icebreaker S.A. Agulhas II located the wreck. Amazingly, the cold Antarctic waters had preserved the wooden structure of the ship quite well. Even after so many years, the name of the ship was still visible on its stern, serving as a poignant reminder of its legacy and the enduring spirit of its crew, and the best is yet to come. Finally, the vibrant green color of some Antarctic icebergs has confused observers for a long time. Initially, it was believed that this green hue might have been due to organic materials or microscopic life forms trapped in the ice. However, this theory was eventually disproved. Through detailed research, scientists discovered that the green color is caused by iron oxides, commonly found in rust, which absorb blue light but reflect red and orange light. When these oxides mix with the natural blue of the ice, they create a striking green color. Finding the shipwreck of the Endurance or understanding the nature of green icebergs aren't the only challenges in Antarctica. The stories these icebergs reveal are a reminder of how much we still need to figure out about the most remote corners of our world. These places have hidden tales and odd sights that show there's a lot we haven't discovered yet. What's really interesting about icebergs is not just their color. While most icebergs just melt away quietly into the sea, green icebergs are special because they add iron to the ocean. This iron is crucial for tiny ocean plants called phytoplankton, which are at the very start of the marine food chain, supporting a variety of sea creatures. This shows how important these icebergs are to the ecosystem at the South Pole. Almost 100 years after Ernest Shackleton's 1907 Nimrod expedition, explorers found something incredible at his old base at Cape Royds. They discovered 5 crates frozen under the ice. But these crates were not filled with ordinary expedition supplies. 3 of them contained bottles of McKinley's rare Old Highland malt whiskey, and the other 2 had brandy. From icy waters to old explorers, Antarctica's stories of survival and discovery continue to amaze. Whiskey found in Antarctic ice. It's interesting to note that while alcohol might seem like it warms you up, it actually increases the risk of hypothermia and has been linked to deaths in cold weather. This discovery gives us a small look into what life was like for Antarctic explorers back then and what they considered important. When you drink alcohol, you might feel warm for a moment, but this feeling doesn't really help you stay warm in freezing temperatures. The whiskey found wasn't really meant to keep the explorers warm, but was probably there for them to enjoy and relax. The crates were dug up very carefully and sent to New Zealand, where they were slowly thawed in a specially controlled environment. Inside these crates, they found 11 bottles of whiskey, amazingly preserved and still wrapped in their original paper and straw. Specialists from White and Mackay and the Scotch Whisky Research Institute took a close look at this old whiskey. They were able to make a new version of this historic drink, allowing whiskey lovers a chance to taste a bit of history. This process not only showed how well the whiskey had been made, but also gave us a glimpse into the daily lives of those early Antarctic explorers. But the real surprise was how well the whiskey had kept its quality over the years. It highlighted the skill of its makers and created a connection between the past and the present, letting modern people taste what the explorers enjoyed over a century ago. The excitement continued as this recreated whiskey brought a piece of history to life, offering a taste of the past to today's whiskey enthusiasts. Back in the early 1900s, a special whiskey called McKinley's Rare Old Highland Malt was so popular that they released a second version to celebrate its success. This wasn't just any drink, it was considered an experience, known for its rich, deep flavors that seemed to reflect the tough, rugged landscapes of its origin. And there's more. However, the whiskey is not the only interesting story from that era. There's also a tale about a fruitcake found at the South Pole. Unlike the whiskey, this fruitcake, discovered in a rusty tin and wrapped in wax paper, might not be everyone's cup of tea. Found by conservators from the Antarctic Heritage Trust in 2017, it was surprisingly well preserved, looking fresh and even smelling good, despite being over 100 years old. However, no one dared to taste it. The extreme cold of Antarctica had kept it frozen, preserving its high fat and sugar content, which was essential for explorers like Scott and his team, who needed lots of energy to face the harsh conditions. While the fruitcake managed to survive the harsh Antarctic conditions, Scott and his team faced incredible challenges. Their high-calorie snacks were crucial, but they battled against the relentless environment. This preserved fruitcake is more than just an old snack. It's a symbol of endurance, showing how humans strive to overcome the toughest obstacles in one of the most challenging places on Earth. Deep in the cold waters of the Southern Ocean, there's a place called the East Scotia Ridge, where hot water bursts out of the sea floor, loaded with minerals. Even though the water around it is nearly freezing, these vents are extremely hot, reaching temperatures over 400 degrees Celsius. This unique setting is home to rare creatures not found anywhere else. One of these unique creatures is the Yeti crab, covered in hair-like bristles. These bristles are filled with bacteria that feed on the minerals from the vent waters, turning them into nutrients through a process called chemosynthesis. This relationship is crucial for the Yeti crab's survival in a place where there's no typical food. Yeti crabs are found in huge numbers around these vents, sometimes with over 700 crabs per square foot. Seeing such large groups in the icy waters is quite a sight. Stories of exploration and survival like these continue to captivate us. Whether it's the unique Yeti crab or the debated fruitcake, each element adds to the fascinating narrative of life in one of the harshest regions on Earth. These tales of natural wonders and culinary oddities, along with the enduring spirit of human exploration, keep us intrigued by the questions of our world. Is the footage from beyond Antarctica's ice wall just a sensational story? Or is there a hidden truth the world isn't ready for? Could there be something more lurking in the icy expanse? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.